Hello everyone, I'm going to teach you active voice and passive voice in very simple way. You don't need to check the tenses of the sentences every time. You just have to follow these simple 5 rules. Okay, let's start. First, we will briefly see what is active voice and passive voice. Active voice and passive voice. Active voice. In active voice, subject is in action. Means it acts on the object, like he is playing cricket, he is playing hockey. In this sentence we see the pronoun he is subject and it is in action. He is doing some action, he is playing, so it is more clear and concise. Now let's see what is passive voice. It receives the action, like it is the receiver of the action. It is used for reporting events, telling stories. Now see example. He is playing hockey. Hockey is being played by him. Now this is receiver of the action. Hockey is being played, so hockey is receiver of the action. Now let's see 5 rules. You don't need to see the tenses of the sentences every time. You just have to follow these 5 rules. Rule 1. You have to convert the object into subject. Object of the sentence is converted into subject. Rule 2. Changes with the verb. You have to change the verbs according to these rules. If you see there is first form of the verb in the sentence, or do or does, then you have to put down, then you have to write is, am, are. I'm repeating, if there is first form of the verb in the tense, or do or does in the sentence, you have to write is, am, are. If there is second form of the verb or did, you have to write was and were. If there is has, have, or had, you have to change into has been, have been, or had been. You have to simply add been with these 3. Has been, have been, had been. Now if you see the will in sentence, simple will, only will, it will be converted into will be. Will is there, you have to add be, will be. If there is will have, shall have, you have to write down will have been, shall have been. You have to add been. Wing, it's mean if ing is used with the first form of the verb, then you have to convert it into being and third form. Being and third form, like wing, playing. Playing is wing, playing. You have to change into being verb third form of the verb. Being and played, played. And rule number 3, you have to convert, you have to write down third form and by. Rule 4, you have to change the subject into object. These are the 4 rules. Now rule 5. Rule 5, don't change these things. Don't change if there is, am, or was, were in the active voice. Okay, now I'm explaining you. Now the other changes you have to do. If there is he in the subjective case, you have to convert into him. If there is she, you have to convert into her. If it is it, you have to write it it. They will be converted into them, and I will be converted into me. We will be converted into us, and you will remain same, you. Now see example, and we will follow the rules. We are not going to see the tenses of the sentences. Okay, the first example is Aslam plays cricket. Aslam plays cricket. Aslam is subject and plays is verb and cricket is object. Now rule 1 is object is converted into subject. Object is converted into subject. Now cricket is object. Cricket is object, so it is converted into subject here. This is rule 1. And rule 2, this is very long. This is rule 2. In rule 2, if you see there is first form or do or does, then you have to add is, am, or. So here it is. This is rule 2. Rule 3, add verb, third form of the verb, and by. So played by. Rule 4 is subject converted into object. So Aslam is here. Cricket is played by Aslam. Now another example. He passed the examination. He passed the examination. The examination, rule 1. We have converted the object into subject. Rule 2. If there is second form of the verb or did, you have to put down, you have to add down, add or was and were. So it was passed. So we have written was, the examination was. Rule 3. We have to add verb, third form of the verb, and by. So passed by. And rule 4, we have to change the subject into object. So he is converted to him. Okay, this here is he is converted to him. Okay, another example. You had beaten the boy. You had beaten the boy. The boy, rule 1, is converted into subject. Object is converted into subject. Now second rule changes the verb had, so it is had been. Okay, has, have, had, has been, have been, have been. So it is had been. This is rule 2. Okay, rule 3 is third form by. Beaten, it is already third form, so third form and by. Rule 4, the subject will be converted into object. Subject will be converted into. Oh no, the final and the last example. Okay, don't change is, am, are, was, were. Sarah is skipping the rope. Sarah is skipping the rope. The rope is subject. Rope is object and converted into subject. Rule 1. And we have to write same. Don't change. Don't change is, am, or. So it is is. Rule 5. Okay, skipping. This is rule 2. Skipping, like playing, being played, skipping, being skipped. Okay, being skipped, rule 2. And rule 3 by, third form and by, rule 3. And finally the subject is converted object. So it is very simple. Just in 10 minutes you have learned all the active and passive voice. Now if you like the video, like it, share it, and finally subscribe it. Thank you. Allah Hafiz.